Let me ask you about mental health, right? A report based on a survey of 4,000 staff and their employers has found that Gen Z, so i.e. people under the age of 30, this is their words, not mine, slack off work at least one day a week due to mental health problems. Get this, the cost to the British economy is 138 billion, with a B, pounds. What do you make to this, Jacqueline?
Well, I'm not a happy person because I was in a position once, was some years ago, when I had to section somebody under the Mental Health Act.
Right.
And there is a vast difference between when you're looking at mental health issues of people who are hospitalised, have hugely serious complications. We see youngsters, obviously, with anorexia and various illnesses like that. And I think what I find most frustrating is people seem to think sometimes in the most flippant way that, oh, you know, I'm feeling a bit depressed today, so I've got a mental health issue. That is not a mental health issue. We all get frustrated. We will all suffer grief in our lives. We know that. And there has to be far more clarity about what this really is, because those who really need life and death decisions, really need treatment, are then in a position where they're down on the waiting list and down on a waiting list, waiting to see professionals. So I do think that this has to be looked at very seriously. And it's not just Gen Z, I don't think. I think there's been an issue now also, and it's escalated, I think, with people working from home during COVID. And a lot of younger people go, great, you've got a big house or a nice house and the kids and the garden and the dog, and it was really nice for a change. A lot of people really were in a little flat and then trying to work like that, and it was very, very, very hard for them.
Indeed, Michael.
Well, I think it's clear it's important that we're clear what this survey found. So it's not that people take a day off work a week or they slack off work. They say they find it unable to fulfil their full capacity once a week. They only take 6 of these days off as formal sick leave. So often on this show, we sort of discuss people taking more sick days. Actually, what this survey is showing is that people, you know, usually
they're not operating at their full capacity. They're not as productive as they are assumed and desired.
I mean, it's also a survey by a health insurance company, so it's not necessarily the most social scientific
study. What was the question,
But this point, I mean, it was literally just a couple of days ago, the amount of people, to Jacqueline's point, younger people, that were having stress leave, etc., because of anxiety, returning to the office, saying that they suddenly felt that they were being looked at and things like that. Do you worry that we're medicalising normal emotions?
So, in theory, I do. I understand the argument. I understand the argument that maybe we are sort of... people are being encouraged to be too sensitive and that sort of people used to have a stiff upper lip and maybe that was better for people. But then I look at my actual life, right, and I look at the people I know, and the problem I have with people who are close to me is not that they're too eager to get therapy, it's that they're not eager enough. You know, I know people who are, you know, they're not ready to be sectioned, right? There is a scale of degree here. But I know many people who are, I would judge them to be very depressed, and sort of I try and persuade them to get help. So I think if we say you should only go and get help if you're about to be sectioned, that would be a dangerous thing to imply. No. But so I think probably the evidence suggests that mental health is getting worse. Why that is less clear. I think it might have a lot to do with social media. I think having an Instagram when you're sort of aged 14 is probably not that helpful for your development.
What they have actually established is a lot of younger people were working from home. And then the difficulty you have, if you then say, OK, you can all carry on working from home, the whole point of mental health and a job isn't just the job, is it? It's about interaction, it's about brainstorming, it's about your career, and it's about all of these things. And one thing they all agree on the medical profession is if you are out and about, even if you're older playing golf or whatever, it's the socialising that is a real benefit, even if the job's hard. There's a camaraderie very often where you'll go out together and you'll be good chums together and you'll work together, and that's one of the greatest benefits. A job actually is one of the greatest benefits for mental health and for working from home, in my view, for most people. Some people run a business from home, but particularly younger ones, I think it's just a real no-no.
I don't think we necessarily need a sort of strong dichotomy here. I mean, I think it would be a mistake. I wouldn't want to work at home the whole time, but I think hybrid working works for a lot of people. You know, you work 3 days in the office, 2 days at home. I mean, I don't see how that would damage.
Well, I mean, if you're not running a business,
different question,
may
though,
not,
isn't it? For productivity.
I work for an airline. I'd have a hard job working from home if you wanted to go on your holidays. So would you, so would your surgeon who was, doing whatever they're doing, or the
I'll
pilots.
accept that.
And the bin man that collects our bins, they can't work from home. I think we need to get a realistic look at this.
Do we talk enough, I'll ask you this at home, do we talk enough about resilience, do you think? We talk a lot, don't we, about stress, anxiety, mental health, depression, and I'm not undermining any of those. You will be familiar with the fact that I've had my own mental health challenges, so I am not seeking to undermine it at all. But normal emotions, that's what they are. Life is not always easy. You get rejected from work. Your partner might turn out to be a wrong un and dump you. Someone, unfortunately, might die, whatever. Do you think we help people to manage those negative emotions enough or not? Get in touch and tell me.